Assalamu alaikum students, welcome to the science lecture. In the previous lecture we had discussed about what do astronomers do, and we had discussed about what do zoologists do. We had already discussed about archaeologists too, and in this chapter we were discussing about different professions and different scientific professions that you can choose from when you become old, when you grow up, so we had discussed a lot of different professions, and today we're going to discuss we have already discussed about marine biology as well. So in this chapter we're going to discuss about the last scientific profession. After that we're going to finish off with this chapter. We're going to start off a new chapter. Okay, so I hope that you are understanding my lecture and you're not having any problems, and that you're able to and you're listening and revising these at your homes, and you're also paying attention and everything, and you're doing your worksheets properly. So you have to listen to the lecture so that you're able to do the worksheets properly at your homes. Okay, so now today we are going to study about meteorologists. Okay, meteorology is basically the science that focuses on the Earth's atmosphere. Okay, so people who study meteorology are called meteorologists. Meteorologists, they record air pressure, the speed of the wind, the direction of the wind, the temperature, the humidity in the weather, in the humidity in the sky, the weather patterns, and other information. So then the meteorologists, they use all this data to understand weather and the weather, the climate, the weather basically, and they predict it. So because we cannot we only can predict the weather by considering these the different factors like speed, temperature, humidity, weather. So we cannot accurately tell. So when weather forecast is told, they tell that we are predicting this percentage of rain today. We are predicting that it will be sunny today. So it's prediction, not accuracy. Okay. So first thing is that. So meteorologists, they study the causes of particular weather conditions using information obtained from the land, sea, and upper atmosphere. So they use computerized and mathematical models to make short and long range forecasts concerning weather and climate patterns. So, mm, so uh, So you know that the weather on the earth is always changing. It doesn't stay stagnant, means it does not stay the same all the time. So this field, meteorology, it basically studies the changes in the weather on the day-to-day basis in a specific place. So different, because different places on the earth have different weathers. Not all the places on the earth have same weather at the same time. Scientists who study meteorology are called meteorologists. So using various tools, the meteorologists, they predict forecast, or they will predict that whether it will rain or whether it will snow, or whether it will be warm or cold. So 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 why weather occurs? So why there's different weather on the earth? Because the sun, it heats the earth's surface unevenly. I mean, the sun does not, the face of the earth which is facing the sun, it is more hotter than the face of the earth which is not facing the sun. So that's why the sun, it heats earth's surfaces unevenly, so it makes some places warmer than other places. So the difference in temperature forces the difference in the temperature, it forces the air in the atmosphere, which is above the earth, to move continuously. So the atmosphere, it moves continuously, and warm and cool air masses, they move and mix with each air masses. So air rises and sinks and absorbs and releases energy. So earth's rotation and the gravitational pull of the sun and the moon also affect how air moves. So the constant movements of air create weather. So why is weather prediction important? Why? Because meteorology, they use different physics and chemistry and mathematics to predict weather, and how will it affect the earth. So these forecasts are important to many people, because weather forecasting, when weather forecast predicting, um, it predicts that, when and where hurricanes can occur. So when people will know that, okay, there is going to be a hurricane, or there's going to be a thunderstorm or rain or snow, then people who will be affected by the storm or the snow or the rain or everything, they will be aware. Like farmers, they will, because they have to grow crops, so that they will be aware of it. So that's why weather prediction is important. So weather forecasts also assist people, who work in agriculture, like in pollution control agencies, in energy industries, and in aviation. So this is why this field is very important. And the predict, because they predict weather. Okay, now let's start reading. The study of the atmosphere is called meteorology. So basically, it's the study of the atmosphere in the which is atmosphere, means that the air and the space between the earth and the sky. It is very useful for weather forecasting, means that, when they predict, meteorologists, they predict weather, and then the news channels and all the people, and the media and everybody, the apps where weather forecasting is shown, they will predict weather. So they will, it is useful for weather forecasting to forecast weather conditions. Researching our atmosphere helps us to better understand the weather. A scientist who studies meteorology is called a meteorologist. So who's a meteorologist? A scientist who studies meteorology, means studies atmosphere, is called a meteorologist. So it is important to research the atmosphere that we live in. Computer science, calculus, physics, chemistry, and algebra are helpful and important subjects to study related to meteorology. So what will you need? Which subjects are important uh, in order to be a meteorologist? Computer science, calculus is basically mathematics, physics, chemistry, and algebra is also mathematics, are helpful and important subjects which are related to meteorology. Good communication skills and a love for weather are good traits to have, to become a, to have as a meteorologist. So it's good, because you have to constantly communicate with people, and you have to tell them that, okay, this is the weather forecast, and you have to, communication is important. So if you have good communication skills, and if you like predicting weather, or if you like talking about weather, if you're interested in it, then it's a good field for you. Meteorologists use many types of tools such as weather stations, radars, sensors, and weather balloons to study air pressure, temperature, wind speed, and humidity. So the meteorologist, um, before the tools were developed, to study weather, so people just predicted weather based on their observation. So if they observed something, they would predict. Now, because proper tools, as science grew, then as science developed, so the proper tools are developed for studying meteorology. So some tools, just as radars, as you can see in this picture, this is a picture of a radar system. And this is a picture of weather station, and there are different radars in it which will give signals and tell, and then sensors which are going to sense the humidity in the air, which is the temperature in the air. If the temperature increases, it will tell us. If the temperature decreases, it will tell us. So different, all these radars and all this, they observe these factors, and then the meteorologists, they collect this information, and then they make a prediction from it, that, okay, now this, if the temperature is this, or if the humidity in the air is of this amount, or if the pressure of the wind is this, speed is this, and the pressure in the air is this, then maybe it will rain. So they have these specified measurements, according to which they measure the different, all these, according to which they measure predict the weather forecast. Knowing the weather in advance helps many trades such as transportation and agriculture. So, especially farmers, it's very important for the farmers, or people who grow crops, or people who are trading, or people who are who have to deal with uh, deal with this outside world, whose work is there in the field, in open air, who are affected by atmosphere, like agriculture, and I've already told you mention other professions. So it is good for them to know about the weather. A meteorologist work on global warming, pollution control, droughts, and much more. So it's the job of the word meteorologist to work on global warming, like because there are so many radiations, and there are so many cars. Because of it, the weather, the pollution, the smoke, it goes into the atmosphere, and then it affects the atmosphere of that, it affects the climate of the earth. And then factories, a lot of smoke comes out of the factories. There are huge factories. Then when, because of all this, the earth's temperatures are changing. The earth is becoming much warmer place, and it's not good that the temperature of the earth is becoming much more warmer, or it is becoming much more hot, because then it will be difficult for us to survive. So we have to keep this thing, that these are the meteorologists, they work on these things, that on global warming, that the earth is becoming warmer and warmer because of all these factories, and all these, all the different factors are involved with this. So if there is pollution, air pollution, then they want to let people know that, okay, the atmosphere is so dirty over here, there's fog, there's smoke, there's dirt over here, there's a pollution. So drought means that whether there will be no water, and people will have difficult times. So all these things are. So, predicting the weather has become better with the use of powerful computers. So, because technology is progressing, and new things are developing, new things are being made, computers are becoming much more faster, they're becoming more vigilant, they're becoming more progressive. So, because of the development of science, everything is becoming much more easier, and much reliable than before. So, big computers are powerful computers used to predict the weather and to collect information and data. So, okay, now what are storm chasers? So, what do you understand by the word storm chasers? So, people who look for storms are called storm chasers. Storm is this huge circle of dark clouds together, which spins around like this, as you can see in this picture. So people who look for storms are called storm chasers. They try to get close to storms as tornadoes, so that they may observe what happens. Some are professional, and some do it just for excitement. So this is a picture of a tornado. Basically, when storm it gets too intense, then it spins in circle, or dark clouds of circle, then it's called a tornado. Okay, when this dark cloud of circle, it roams, it spins in circles, this is called tornado. And so there are people who chase these storms and tornadoes, and these are called storm chasers. They're basically observing what is happening, why is it this happening. So some, because this is quite interesting phenomena of this universe, so they kind of, some people do it for excitement, some people do it for fun. So in this lecture we have discussed about meteorology, and who are meteorologist is the that branch of science which focuses on earth's atmosphere, and people who study meteorology are called meteorologists. And they record different factors such as speed, wind speed, direction, and pressure, and humidity, and weather patterns, and temperature, and all these things, and on the basis of these factors they predict weather. So this is the end of this chapter. We had discussed about different professions. So it's good for you, because when you grow up, you're going to you will um, have all these professions in mind, that okay, whether I want to be a storm chaser, clearly not. Whether you want to be a meteorologist, whether you want to be a astronomer, whether you want um, want to be a marine biologist, whether you want to be a zoologist, whether you want to be a archaeologist, whether you want to be an astronaut or a lab engineer or lab researcher, oceanographer. So there are so many diverse scientists, scientific professions which you can choose from. So we have discussed about some of them. So you can learn more about them on the internet. If you are want to more, if some profession is intriguing you, interesting, it is sounding interesting to you, then you should study more about it, and research more about it. So this is the end of this chapter. So in the next chapter we are going to start off with a new chapter which is called living cells. And till then, revise this and study about meteorologists and other professions. Revise the whole lecture, revise the whole previous lectures as well, and do the worksheets that I'm giving you. So take care and Allah Hafiz.